All right. Can you hear me? Good morning, guys. It's Armand from Cool Trading Tools. I was even debating on making a video this morning because I'll be honest, I have no real interest in anything this morning here. So I decided, though, just to maintain consistency, I'm just going to make a little video here and we're just going to riff a little bit on everything. So, yesterday, the market stick saved, right? Or 2 days ago, had a gap up, squeezed the shorts, and that was that. Now what does that put us in this position here, right? We're kind of in no man's land in the market here, right? So this isn't the worst scenario, right? I think a lot of people, this is the easy time to trade because what happens then in those situations is everything just tends to trend higher. And what you can do is you can kind of just rotate. So, for example, if crypto mining names are going up for a period of time during this, then those stall out. You can normally rotate into a new sector, data centers, this sector, this sector. And what happens is you just kind of rotate into the new bullish sectors, right? And everything works as long as you're putting in a little research and seeing which sector is next to go and setting up as a flag or consolidation pattern. It's a relatively simple time to trade. A lot of people actually have, I mean, not complicated, but they have trouble during periods of times like this. And we may be entering a period of time like this. So we'll use this day as a day to give a little bit of a lesson here. It doesn't have to be difficult. So I'm going to be speaking from a day trading perspective, but I assume that a lot of the concepts will apply here. So I am not going to be really getting too aggressive on names that are super dependent on the market when we're in a range like this. Essentially, we got the low of here and the high here, right? You don't want to be trading in the middle too much. So what you do is this is actually a good time to focus because while the market does this, you can kind of focus into what are specific news plays. For example, if there's a new stock that has some type of hype coming out, you can focus on that storyline and trade that back and forth. So essentially, the energy becomes a lot more focused. In periods of time like this, you can be kind of trading everything, jumping into new sectors and things like that. A lot of things kind of start to, I'll show you an example like Riot here, or let's just go to a few names here. What happens is names start to just drift lower when we get these little like periods of consolidation. You can kind of start to see it happen in some of these names. They'll just start to drift. Breakouts didn't work and they just start to drift. APLD, they just start to drift a little lower. Poet. And so what happens is the market feels quiet, but you can oftentimes find periods of specific stocks that are still providing volatility based on their own individual news. And that's what I do in times like this is I kind of narrow my focus onto a smaller watch list of a few names that are giving opportunities on their own specific news cycle. The issue we're having with today is the news cycle is really quiet. I mean, from what I'm finding is Circle had some news here. Let's pull up what's going on with that. We'll go into Circle here. And so what's going on with Circle is they got approval for, I don't know, some banking thing. U.S. office granted approval for operate as a trust bank, right? So they're gapping up. But the issue with that, we're in this monster downtrend. So we're just gapping up into bag holders into the 20 SMA resistances. I don't have a lot of faith in this name to push higher on today. I mean, it's just not my thing. You're kind of gapping up in a daily downtrend. So it doesn't really excite me from that perspective. Meta has been developing some chips along that. Should have just kept that open here. But they are coming out with their own chip. That's pushing. Just not my favorite name to trade. And then once again, we're not in a trend. We're just in the middle of nowhere here. And it's just not that hot, One of the only things that is hot is this Chinese Julong Holding Limited company. I haven't even really found the news on it, but I don't know. It's just not my style. I mean, it's providing, you could probably day trade this from a volatility perspective, but it's just not something I'm super going to be interested in. So long story short is we're not seeing a lot of opportunity. One of my go-tos lately has been Soxel. This actually has a decent thing, but I find, it wouldn't surprise me if we push up a little bit today, push back down. I find that with these saves, the trend is down, but volatility might come out of it because we had this save here and it's not a super obvious play. I can't tell, are we going to push up and hang out up here today? Are we going to trend back down? I don't have a strong opinion on either direction, so it's just kind of like, what do you do with it then, right? SPCX, this is something we've been talking about here. This has been my great trader. I was trying to trade it yesterday to the short side. Ended up getting a little bit chopped up on that. Took a short here, right? And broke down, came back up, stopped me out. I think I only took one attempt on it, and then that was it. I had to get going anyways early. But what have we been talking about this? My concern was not if I was wrong directionally. It was if the volatility would break out. And look at, here's the average true range. We are going now from a couple weeks ago, from a 2052, you can look right here, 2052 ATR to now you can just see it, this is the line just cratering down to a 9 ATR. So the volatility is decreasing on this. If we break low, I'll get back interested into it, but I'm not going to get chopped up anticipating it. If it breaks down, then we'll get involved here. So another name here we talked about yesterday, Bull via the hood swing, and that actually still looks in play. I'm more speaking from a day trading perspective that this is not providing a ton of volatility from an ATR perspective. It's 38 cents. So it's like, what are you going to do day trading at 38 cents back and forth, like trying to capture 10 cents here in each direction? It's just not hot. There's not a lot to do right now. So like I said, I want to make this video and just riff on it, and like we can kind of see like what do we want to do going forward. So I think like my plan, if you're a day trader, let's just focus on that for a second. We focus in on names. You got to be realistic with yourself. You know what I mean? Like the hottest sectors, like these data center plays, APLD, I think TE was a data center play. These are now in downtrends, and the worst part is they're trickling lower. They're not like volatility to the downside, which can still provide opportunities. It's just a little trickle lower, people losing interest. They're realizing the market's changing a bit, and you want to wait from a trader's perspective for the volatility to come back in, and then you get involved from a day trader's perspective. You don't want to overly anticipate. You don't want to anticipate at all, really. It's better. You're going to get yourself hurt more trying to anticipate volatility coming back in versus just missing day one and then participating in the coming days once it's proved itself that, okay, the range is back in. There's something that's causing it to move, whether it's a news cycle or not. So, like I said, I'm just riffing right now because there's not a lot that I personally like at all. I'm not going to really that interested in Meta gapping up off its chip, creating news into the middle of nowhere here where it's been for a year. It's just middle of nowhere. Circle, I'm not interested in a gap up into the 20 SMA on a downtrending stock. I'm not going to probably trade this Julong Holding, Chinese name that I've never heard of. So it's kind of a day where you just sit still, I guess, right? It's going into the weekend here. You don't need to ruin your week off of that. Like I said, I'm just not seeing a ton that's interested to me. This is a good thing too, I guess. Older me, I've been in this for a little while. I've been trading for 8 years actively, like day trading and active trading. You would always try to force yourself to find something in. And to be honest, even to the last couple of years, I was never able to find a remedy for that. Trading can be adjacent to gambling. The only difference is you can develop a more respectable strategy that can prove profitable, and you can become the casino. And that's where trading can be a differentiator than gambling. But there is that urge to trade. I want to make money every day, and you need to be able to fight that. And to be fair, from pure willpower, I was never necessarily the best at that. So times like this, it's nice to have other things going on. So, for example, I'm working on building a business here. I can go and work on aspects of the business, keep an eye on the market in one screen, and just if something pops up, okay, but I don't need to, like, I can spend an hour and a half here looking and say, all right, I'm just not seeing anything. I'm going to spend a day building on something else. So it's good to have from a productivity standpoint. You could go spend time with your family too. I'm just kind of that's the type of person I am, that I want to be doing something productive. The family's sleeping right now. That just having something else to go to when the market does get a little slow. Like I said, I don't think just because we're getting into a choppy range that there's going to be lack of opportunity. It might suck for swing traders. For day traders, I actually personally like this, because what happens is I'm a rather I can be a little bit of a all over the place person here. So I actually, sometimes when it's like this, there's so many different opportunities that I actually have trouble staying focused. I want to trade everything. I see this looks good, this looks good, this looks good, and I end up having 5, 6 things on my watch list. I try to reduce that. I normally cap it out at a max of 5 names on any given day. But then you're still watching things and you're not focused. Versus here, there might be 1 or only 2 things moving, so you're just locked in, laser focused on whatever that setup is. So I've actually had really good periods of time during this chop. It's not the best for swing traders because they just want to get in and ride the trend. But if you're being pretty active, jumping around isn't necessarily the best, and this helps me to stay focused here. So just wanted to record a little video to give a little bit of my thoughts on what's going on today. And kind of how I handle when the market gets into this little bit of a range-bound market here. Like I said, I think ideally you want to wait till we get clear confirmation. Like if we break this level here, okay, we kind of get back interested in the short side and look for a break below here. If we break over today's high, start make our way high, we kind of see what happens when we get into this resistance area. You know what I mean? And we have a level to short off of or a level to long off of, and see if the shorts get squeezed. And you can play it by whatever direction metric you want. I think now, like I said, as we get in this range bound, this period of time is a little bit volatile. Soxel, I would expect, it looks like it's turning. It's still giving great volatility, but I would expect the volatility on this to downturn as well. Like I said, I only really like trading these 2 to 3x names when we have periods of downside like this, where the market's breaking down because the volatility increases. But now range bound and up markets, the volatility on these names are not necessarily great for day trading. So nothing really for me to do today. We'll see if anything happens midday or early morning here in the next hour or so. But just keeping on giving my thoughts here. So yeah, anyways, you guys have a great rest of the trading day and a great weekend here. So